Hi, I'm Sharon Bayliss, author of the Dark Wizard family drama Destruction, and I'm here at the Texas State Capitol, there it is, to participate in the Read Around the World experiment from the talented and hilarious Andrew Buckley. And I will be reading from Death, the Devil, and the Goldfish, and parts of my selection are in Drunken Irish, so apologies, it's going to be pretty bad, that part, but here we go. So, what a yada farar leaving? Asked Mickey. Thankfully, Death, being what he was, easily translated Drunken Irish. What do I do for a living? Funny you should ask, replied Death. I guide people to the afterlife when their physical and spiritual presence on this earth is no longer required. Death watched as drunken confusion washed over Mickey's face like the sea approaching high tide. This was a common occurrence and completely intentional, as Death's appearance was not entirely normal, and he found that an easier way to keep people calm. In fact, Death's appearance was almost stereotypical of the old Grim Reaper characters featured in 60s horror movies. He wore a flowing dark robe, was practically faceless, and had thin white hands. Once upon a time, he used those skinny white hands to clutch his scythe so he could be easily recognized. During the Great Heavenly Survey of 1753, a 700-page inquiry for the recently deceased, the scythe became obsolete, as results from the recently deceased showed that a scythe depicted a far scarier angel of death than was absolutely necessary. 2, his black robe then changed to an extremely dark burgundy color, so he didn't look quite as scary. Just to be on the safe side, an angelic defense mechanism made sure that any living human who saw Death would not be able to remember ever meeting him after Death disappeared from sight for more than 10 seconds or so. So, Mickey said, "You work for bank then?" Death rolled his eyes and tried hard to concentrate on his beard. "No, I don't work for the bank." He seemed to recall going through a similar situation not long ago when he had been mistaken for a lawyer. That seemed to be happening more and more these days. "Where do you gert school? Oxford, Wasset, Ombury, Cambridge? Only Alvertilligent." Mickey smiled, a self-satisfied smile. Death could see the direction this conversation was headed. He just shook his head and downed the last of his beer before ordering another one. He turned to his neighbor and attempted to smile politely, which wasn't an easy thing for a practically faceless angel to accomplish. "I'm going to try to explain this to you slowly, as I know you're far more intoxicated than I am. The fact that you haven't commented on my lack of face, our dark robe, or the cold tingly feeling that travels up and down your spine every time I speak, substantiates your severe intoxication. I'm the angel of death, sent by God himself to guide the souls of man to the next life. Is it really that difficult a concept to grasp?" He turned back to the bar and accepted the fresh pint from the bartender. Mickey looked worried, as if he defended the dark stranger. His glazed eyes searched for an answer, and then enlightenment dawned upon his face. "So, is da much money in da?" Death looked Mickey up and down, decided that he couldn't wait until the day he could guide this poor soul off of the earth, and went back to his beer. It took all of 10 minutes, another round of beers for the lads, and an offhand comment by a young man named Seth to push Death over the point of no return. Seth, a local farmhand, had never really gone to school, but had the most amazing talent of breaking a situation down to its most basic components. Plus, his parents were English, so he was the one person in the bar who didn't sound like a cassette player that was stuck on reverse play. The conversation continued to cover the finer points of Death's employment, and everyone had been doing a great job of keeping their drunken faces straight and showing feigned interest, right up to the point when Seth made his comment. The same comment was the reason that Death ended up outside that same bar a little while later, screaming at a surprised lamppost. The lamppost wasn't used to being shouted at for no reason and wasn't happy about it. So basically, Seth said, as innocently as possible, what you're telling us is that you're some sort of a doorman in the afterlife, like old Jimmy Barnes used to do at that fancy hotel in Dublin, showing people where to go, opening the door for them, getting them in a taxi, kissing their ass. Is there much money in that? Well, that was it. The crowd literally fell about the place laughing. Mickey, as reserved as a character as he was, ran to the bathroom before he peed himself. Death did not take the reaction very well. He fell off his chair for the final time and let go of any remains of patience that he had left. And that's the end of my section. The story will be continued tomorrow by the brewmaster and curse merchant, J.P. Sloan. And if you'd like to participate in the Read Around the World experiment, it's not too late to sign up. Go to www.planetkiwi.com. Bye!